On this episode of Lapeef, Let's Talk.
Just now, I think a lot of women will be able to sit on it. You know what I'm saying? And it'll fester and they'll be able to think about it. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that is kind of the difference. And we also talked about that last night on Crew Season about like the way that you communicate. So it's not just gender, it could be gender wise, but it all could just be person wise. The way that you communicate with someone in order for them to receive it. You know what I mean? Is your goal for you to just get your message out? Is your goal for them to receive it? And then we were talking about like the difference in way my mom communicated with me versus my brother. Like all that nice talk that you said, my brother, it would go in one ear and out the other. He needs to be yelled at. He needs to be like he needs to be like, listen, you not doing what the fuck you need to do versus me. That would like sit on me. And I would think about that all night. Someone yelling at me, I'm not listening to you. You know what I mean? So the way that she was able to reach each of us individually, I don't know if that was a gender thing or just personal thing, but I do think that a lot of women will appreciate like what you shared.
But go ahead, Logic.
No, I was just trying to give you credit. I think this is a super, super dope conversation in my airtime voice.
I'm trying to help.
I like when we have more like in-depth conversation.
Yeah,
like,
man.
And we can real disagree or something real. You know what I mean? That's
family. Just real quick, because I know some people. I know we brought Let Go on here. Let Go. I was on your IG, so I actually know the title that you have for yourself. Can you explain to the people who may not be familiar with you who you are and what it is exactly that you do?
Oh, okay. Well, I'm an emotional attachment coach. I have a women's coaching group. I coach men also, but I have a women's group. So I help women let go of their dysfunctional attachment style. And there's 4 different attachment styles. It's secure, which everybody wants to be at. It's anxious, where half of the women are. It's avoidant, which the other half of women are. And then there's a certain amount of men and women that are disorganized. Most men are disorganized and women are anxious and avoidant.
Wait, hold on, wait. I got something, Ms. Lego.
So no one is secure ever? Wait.
No. I'm just saying secure.
I want to ask about this. So you said you're emotional attachment coach?
Emotional attachment coach, yeah.
And where you get these certifications to be this at?
I study attachment theory. There's no certification for emotional attachment. You study something.
Attachment theory is studied in sociology.
It would be in the psychology field.
In psychology.
Right. Mm-hmm. But there's no degree in attachment styles in particular. But overall, I've been coaching women and talking about attachment styles for the last 5 years.
So are you more like did you go to school for this or did you just like study up on it?
No, I read over 70 books about neurology, human brain, psychology.
Okay. I mean, that's valid.
Just reading.
So like a lifestyle coach, but specifically about a certain topic, basically.
Right.
Okay.
Because if you can't let people know how you can help them, they don't know what the hell you're doing. You feel me?
Is there a reason you do this for women instead of men and women, or men, as you are a man?
Well, that's a question that I get a lot. But overall, the reason why I do it for women is because 1, I have 2 daughters. 2, I've been married. And 3, my mother had this particular issue. And since we moved around so much, and I'm an only child, I spent a lot of my life watching my mother. And I was able to play back literally everything that she did. So
that's valid.
I was able to see at a young age, like my mom would get with a guy, he'll abuse her, right? She'll kick him out, and then she'll bring him back. And then another guy do the same thing, and then she'll bring him back. And me and my mom had the same a particular relationship where I could sit there next to her and like, yo, why do you keep doing this? And she would explain what's going on inside of her, and she'll literally say, well, it's because I don't think anybody would want to be with me because we're on welfare, we're in the projects. Like, why would somebody want to be with me? So
that's
the thing that she talked about gave me a very good insight on how women think and operate.
Okay, that's valid. Would you say that you yourself have changed attachment styles, or would you say you've been the same one that you were?
To be honest with you, I've been a secure attachment style, mainly because I'm an only child. So if I had other siblings, I probably would have been an anxious or avoidant or whatever. But since I was the only child, I have always been able to somewhat control my own environment to the best of my ability.
So
I even grew up and beat up my mom's boyfriends that were beating on her because they were still hanging at the corner, still around the neighborhood or whatever. And I grew up and kind of like avenged my mother, and my mother actually called the police on me. And that is the psychological thing that I learned, because I came back and asked her. So one of her abusive boyfriends came over to the house, right? And I'm like, no, we're not doing this. I'm old enough. Call my homeboys over here. We beat his ass right in front of my apartment, so everybody could see. And next thing you know, my mom called the police on me. I had to run and just be at a friend's house for like 3 days with no clothes because I didn't know what was going on. And I come back and I sat down with my mom, like, why would you call the police on your own son when you never called the police on any of these men that were beating your ass? And she literally told me that I did it because you're keeping me away from happiness. And I'm like, but what about your safety? And she was like, I don't really care about my safety because I want a man. And I'm like, why don't you get with Mr. So-and-so? You know, somebody lives in a neighborhood that's, she's like, because he's too short, literally, because he's too short. And she literally said, you already know my type. I like tall guys. And all of her boyfriends that beat her ass were tall guys. So she literally would go after what she thinks she can get, even though she told me that she doesn't think she can get it. Think about that. She went after what she thinks she can get, but she literally said, I don't think I can get it because we on welfare and she ain't got no job, and who would want me? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, thank you so much for sharing and being vulnerable.
Thank you so much.
Telling us all of that about yourself. I think that's very valuable, probably for a lot of people in the audience. And as you were explaining, it helped me to realize why you were talking about like the male network, because saying that you still have that secure attachment style, I'm like, wait, how? If this is all going on with your mom, blah, blah, blah. But you went on to explain like you had that network of friends and, you know, people that were close to you that helped to instill that within you, despite the things that your mom was doing that could possibly put you in that more avoidant, anxious or dismissive, you know, attachment style. So thank you very much for sharing that. I was just interested because I'm into the psychology and all these things too. So
I love all that stuff. We talk about that in my coaching group.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I was just asking. Thank you for sharing.
No, it's dope. It's dope. I mean, I think that a lot of women think with the way that you communicate, or at least communicated just now, I think a lot of women will be able to sit on it. You know what I'm saying? And it'll fester and they'll be able to think about it. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that is kind of the difference. And we also talked about that last night on Crew Season about like the way that you communicate. So it's not just gender, it could be gender wise, but it all could just be person wise. The way that you communicate with someone in order for them to receive it. You know what I mean? Is your goal for you to just get your message out? Is your goal for them to receive it? And we were talking about like the difference in way my mom communicated with me versus my brother. Like all that nice talk that you said, my brother, it would go in one ear and out the other. He needs to be yelled at. He needs to be like he needs to be like, listen, you not doing what the fuck you need to do, versus me. That would like sit on me and I would think about that all night. Someone yelling at me, I'm not listening to you. You know what I mean? So the way that she was able to reach each of us individually, I don't know if that was a gender thing or just personal thing, but I do think that a lot of women will appreciate like what you shared.